Okay, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at reading from a text file, but now instead of adding it into just a basic text just to display it, we're actually going to add it to an array so we can use and work with each record individually. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to open up the people just so we can take a look at the structure. And remember, the structure goes name, first name, surname, favorite food, and then number of meals a week, or number of times exercising a week, I think. So what we're going to be doing is we're now going to be actually creating a person class to be able to work with this, and we're going to get the storage manager to read it into the class. So I'm going to create a new Java class, and we're going to call it, I suppose, person, because it's a singular person that we're dealing with each record. I'm going to finish creating this person without the video being on, because quite frankly you don't need to see this. I'd have multiple fields for each of the entries in here. So like here there's a name field, etc. So I'll create those fields. You must choose appropriate data types. So just to show, we initialized all three of the string. You can if it's the same data type. Remember, you can declare them. Sorry, you declare them on the same line. You can do that if they're the same data type. Okay, just to continue with this, so I've created all my fields at the top, and then I've created my fully parameterized constructor, default constructors, my setters and getters, and my toString. Just to notice, I accidentally said days exercise per weed. My bad. Just a shortcut on how to make sure it changes on all of them. If I just went like this, it would cause a whole bunch of red underlines. So what you can do is you just press Control R, and then this will allow you to rename it, and it will refactor all of them that are called that. So it will change all of them where that comes up. And remember, your toString should be formatted correctly. So I've created a class that would represent each of these records, so to be able to hold the data in each of these records. Now, the difference is here in your storage manager, I created a method called getPeople. Now, we're not quite going to do it like this. We're going to create we're actually wanting to create an array of person, and from each one of these, we want to add that to the array. Now, I'm going to change this quite drastically. I'm going to create a new class called working class. Now, let me call this person manager. And what this is there's a class dedicated to just managing people. So it's got to deal with everything to do with the people, whichever the scenario might be. Storage manager should only ever deal with storage. So I'm grouping the program into each. You try and make everything responsible for only itself. And the reason why we do that is it helps with problem solving, is that you can actually you can locate items better, you can solve logical errors exactly where they are, and it makes the programming easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to create here in my person manager an array of persons. We've done this before. So we're going to go private person array, you put the square brackets, people is equal to new person array of size, let's say 500. Remember, the text file could be variable length. We could add new people onto there. So you're also going to create an integer called numPeople, and this would start off at 0. As the program runs, there are no people loaded into the array. So then only once you actually run through the array will it work. Now, when we create an array, we normally create a method called add whichever the array is, and this will actually allow us to add that person. You would then take a look at your person fully parameterized constructor. You could even literally just copy and paste those there, and that's what this would have to receive through. So for this to actually add a person, it needs to receive every single field for that person. So it would have first name, surname, favorite food, and number of days. We would then go and we would say people position numPeople would be equal to new person, first name, surname, etc. And we would then go numPeople plus plus. And what this will do is every single time you run this method, it will add a new instance into that array. So position 0, then position 1, then position 2, then position 3. So literally, we'll just add record by record by record by record. And that is what you're wanting to do. So remember, it logically reserves a whole bunch of counters. It will then initialize a new position in RAM, and it will point to there. I'm trying to use hand movements, but I don't know if that's actually helping at all towards visualizing.
It is.
Cool. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be creating our constructor. Now, instead of our constructor actually, we actually need this constructor to read from the text file. Now, we could literally just copy and paste this whole thing to here. So I'm going to show you two different ways of solving this. The first way is probably going to be the simplest way. So I'm going to copy and paste that. We did this in the last tutorial video. I just realized I shouldn't be saving this in the same class as example 101 because now I'm overriding it. Oops. Anyway, too late. Now, we could literally just do the scanner directly in here. And this would be perfectly fine. There is no problem with that. And I'm actually going to leave it like that for now. I'm going to get rid of my storage manager. So we're going to read from our scanner. Remember, this throws a exception, but now is this exception handled? No. So we either can deal with it now or we throw it. I suggest you throw it because I like to deal with my exceptions in the user interface level. So we're done with this, but now we don't want to return it. We don't want to make just a string of it. We actually want to add it to the array. So now that I've got the first name, food, and number of exercises, instead of returning it in a string, I'm just going to go add person, done. Do you guys get that? Now remember, in this type of class, you would also create yourself a toString, and the toString would return what is ever's in this array. So your toString would loop through this array and return what's in there. So in this case, I'm going to create a string called sall. I'm going to make it equal to blank. I'm then going to return sall. And all I'm going to do with my sall, I'm going to go for our tab, loop up until plus equaling, let me zoom in, I apologize, damn it. Okay, so sall, if you take a look here, I'm going to plus equal person, position, sorry, it's people, position I dot toString plus \n, so two enters, semicolon. So all I'm doing there is I'm looping through my array, getting the toString and enter. So just to go through this again while we've got this code up, I've created a person manager class with an array of people, which array of the person class, which is called people, shall I say, the size 500. It counts it to keep track of the number of people that are in there. My add persons method will actually create a new instance of the person and add it to num person increment each time. If you go down to here, I'm going to open up my file, I'm going to read through my file. Every single line I'm going to scan through. I'm just going to run this just to show you that it works. So instead of not in my storage manager, we don't actually need storage manager. So I'm going to delete this class now. And now in my GUI, instead of creating an instance of storage manager, I'm going to create an instance of person manager. Pman. So I'm declared my person manager in my constructor of my GUI. I'm going to go pman is equal to new pman, a person manager. Now, here's the thing. This is going to give me a red underline. Why? Anybody can tell me before I move a mouse over it? Why has I've declared it here, and why when I've initialized it has given me a red underline?
You did something wrong.
No, I haven't handled the exception. Remember, person manager throws the exception. I did something wrong, perhaps. well done, Amir. That made a lot of that. Exactly it. Yeah, so we threw the person manager. So Mitchell was correct. The exception has not been handled. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be clicking here and we're going to actually surround it now. We're going to deal with it. So we're going to surround it with a try catch, which now means I can choose what happens when it actually does have an error. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to print an error to the message, error in initial. Now this would make no sense to the user, so that's why this is just a message for the programmer. And in this case, then we'll do an error for the user, which will do a message dialog, which will pop up. Damn it! It's a show message dialog. And remember, we can use this now because we have a GUI form. And I'll just say, sorry, we could not get the file.